Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this HP Star Wars Special Edition notebook model 15-AN051DX. Alright, so it looks like the customer already replaced the battery on their own. So I don't know if the model number on this is correct of what you would find on the actual HP battery, but here it is. It's I think that's KI04. I don't know if that's it might be a K104, but I think it's KI04. Alright, so anyways, the battery was in here like this. Alright, so basically it snaps in like that. You pull these, so this will be locked over here. Basically you pull these two to the center, this one will stay unlocked. This one you have to kind of slide over. It's a little hard to push over, so you kind of pull this up while you're sliding it, and there you go. Alright, and that's how you remove the battery. The battery does go in with the back side first, and then it swings down. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and take this thing apart. So there might be some hidden screws under these rubber feet, but I'm not sure. Let's double check. Okay, so let's pull that out. And no, there's no hidden foot under there, so we'll put that rubber foot back. Alright, so anyways, we're going to open this up using a PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab that. And let's start taking out the screws. You want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put the flat side down like this on my desk. In the pattern, I remove them. So as you can see, this screw's super long. And yeah, we're going to go across in rows. So got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws going along the top. So let's go ahead and put those screws. Take those screws out and put them in a row. Okay. Oops, sorry. I'm getting the screws all mixed up, so there we go. Okay. And the last one. Alright, if this video helps you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, as you can see, we're removing these little plastic covers here. I don't know if there's actually a screw under here as well. This one is a lot more difficult, so I'm probably going to have to use a needle to get that out. Sadly, it's going to make like a little dent in this cover, but we have to do what we got to do. Actually, let me try with a smaller flathead screwdriver. Maybe that will work. No, that's definitely, it's also going to crease it. So I don't think we have a way to do it. Oh, there we go. Maybe that, nope. Okay, I definitely creased it now. So let's see, it doesn't want to come out. Alright, I'm going to use the needle then. So I'm pushing down where the screw hole is, so that way it pulls the adhesive back a little, and there we go. Okay, sadly I ended up making a little dent in there, but yep, that's on the bottom. Okay, so anyways, we're going to take these 3 screws out as well. Okay. Alright, so this is a customer's computer. I don't own the computers I work on, so keep that in mind. Usually by the time you see these videos, I won't have the computers anymore. Alright. If you're just removing the optical drive, you only need to remove this one screw here. Once you've removed that screw, I use my fingernail here, and then I go along the bezel of the CD drive, and I just keep doing that to pull it. This one doesn't seem to want to come out, so I'm going to use a needle in this little hole here to eject the CD drive. Okay. Alright, let's see, it doesn't want to come out. So usually if you do this, you can get the CD drive to eject. I don't know why it doesn't want to come out. There we go. Okay. So we got the CD drive out. Now we can pull this. Once you pull it all the way, you can grab the metal rails here, and then you can use that to help pull it out. There we go. Oops. Once you've got it out enough, you can actually just put the CD drive back in and pull it out like that. They do have hard drive adapters for this, so if you wanted to change the CD drive to another hard drive adapter or slot, you can do that. You will need the thickness of this. I don't know what size this is. I think it's a 9.5 millimeter. There's also, I think, a 12.7. But yeah, you'll want to check the millimeter thickness of this, and then you can get an adapter. So this is you can see it has the SATA connector here. You'll have to transfer this over, and then if you don't want this giant hole here, you'll have to pull this bezel off. Pulling this bezel off is pretty risky. A lot of times the little clips break, so yeah, keep that in mind. All right, there's 2 screws underneath here, so let's go ahead and remove those. It looks like we're going to have to switch to a PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. All right. Okay, so we got both those screws out. Now let's go ahead and switch back to the PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver, and we'll remove the 4 screws from the bottom here. Okay. Alright, so this computer is running really slow, so what we're going to be doing is upgrading it to an SSD, and yeah. Alright, there are most likely some hidden screws underneath those covers, so hopefully you're following along and didn't just skip over my video. Alright, so anyways, what we're going to do, we're going to pop this out. Okay, so as you can see, I just got my fingernail underneath there. You can use plastic pry tools if you want. Now that we got this corner up, we can kind of wiggle this and it should be able to pop out. Okay, come on, it's kind of stuck here. Okay, there we go. So here you see we got this plastic cover out. Alright, we're going to do the same thing with this side. Get underneath there and pop that up. Okay, so just like that. And then you're going to kind of wiggle this. It can be a little tricky to get these out. Just be a little patient. Don't try and just quickly rip it out or you can damage it. Okay, so we're going to wiggle this around. You might have to get underneath here. There's a little gap there. I don't know if you're able to see. So there's the gap here. So I just used my fingernail and pulled it out right there. Okay, so we're going to get that and set that aside. As you can see, there's 2 screws hidden under here. Okay, so we're going to remove those 2 as well. Alright, so one here. And one here. Again, hopefully you guys are keeping all the screws in order. Again, if you mix them up, you can damage your computer. Most of them seem to be about the same length. The 2 under here are slightly longer, so keep that in mind. And then the corner screws that were on top of the covers are longer than all the rest. I think all the rest are about the same size, but it's always a good idea to keep track of them and put them back in the same place. Also, these ones were shorter and flat screws. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to pop off the bottom cover. So what you do is you open the screen slightly. There's a gap here between the bottom cover and the palm rest, so I get my fingernails in there. And then what I do is, with my fingernails in there, I push with my thumbs on the back, and here you can see it pops out pretty easily, just like that. All right, then we're going to rotate it and go to the side here. Right, same thing, just working our way up the side, okay? Then we're going to go over to this side and do the same, but they have this CD part here. So to remove this bezel, you kind of have to pull this plastic piece out slightly. Okay, so pull it out slightly this direction, and then pull it up, as you can see. All right, same thing, let's go ahead and get this out. Okay, and it's always a bit difficult to get this part out, so let's see here. If I remember correctly... Okay, so the plastic is on this piece. Okay, let's work our way over here. And it's going to be tricky, but we're going to work our way up the side here. And part of the tricky... Okay. Okay, this one, I think we actually have to remove it from the top. So what we're going to do, we're going to slowly, carefully open up the screen. You want to do this very slowly and carefully, because the hinge screws aren't holding it down anymore, or not all of them, there's just a few now. So now that we got that, you can see there's the gap here where they kind of hide it. So that's what makes it kind of tough to remove. So what I'm going to do, let's see if I can get my fingernail in this over here. Okay, again, you can use plastic pry tools if you want. Yeah, that's going to be tough. Okay, so that's not coming out. Let's try from this side. Wow, okay. Let's see here. How can I remove this? I'm going to close the screen a bit. Alright, and let's see. Can we get this out? It's stuck really strong here. Okay, I see. So what helps is use your thumb on the hinge back here and then pull on this black piece here, not on the keyboard palm rest area, but the black piece. So I'm gonna pull on that with my finger and then push with my thumb. Okay. It helps to do it while it's down. I did it on the other side. This side, for some reason, is much more difficult. Okay, maybe, oh, I see, that clip was still stuck. Let's see now. Okay, so now it's kind of coming out. Okay, let's see, is it going to come out or is it stuck there? Here you can see on this side, I was able to pop it out. Okay, let's try and now pop this side out. There we go. So I'm gonna just push on this. So we're pushing down on this and it's popping those clips out. There we go. And this side as well. Okay. So let's see, is it going to come out or are we kind of stuck here? Sorry, I know it's going off view of camera. It's hard to do this in camera. But, it's holding this together. Okay, it's kind of wiggling now, so I think we got it. Yep. Here you can see we got this out. And now we're going to have to just be careful with this, lift this whole piece up, and it falls out. So we just lifted this out, and here you go. Okay, so here you can see the bottom cover. That was kind of a pain, but there you go. All right, it's only a little bit dusty in here. I will clean it up. Since we have it open, it was pretty difficult to open it up, so might as well. Slowly, carefully close it. If you can, it helps to kind of push on the hinges to close it instead of using the cover. You can see they're only using one slot for the RAM, and there's actually an empty slot, so if you want, you can add another stick of RAM. Let's go ahead and take the stick of RAM out so you can see here. So the RAM is 8 gigs PC3L 12800S, so you can add another 8 gig PC3L 12800S stick of RAM if you want. Okay, so if you want to speed it up, you can do that. I don't know what this Model X1BD is, if you can see that, Model X1BD. Okay, and then they have the motherboard model number here. Let me show you that. So, main reason customer brought this in, they said it was running slow, so the reason is the hard drive is actually bad, so we're going to change it to an SSD. Anyways, there's the motherboard model number here, DAX1BDMB6F0 revision F. Okay, you got the CD or optical drive connector here, so if you want to remove that or replace it if it's damaged, you can. You got a giant connector ribbon cable here that goes underneath the motherboard to connect the SD card slot, the LAN or Ethernet port, 2 USB ports here. These are, one's USB 2 and one's USB 3. Got the DC jack, which connects over here. These kinds of connectors, you just grab the wings and you kind of just wiggle and slowly pull it out. You got the BIOS, CMOS, RTC, real-time clock battery, whatever you want to call it. Here, this kind of battery, you get a tool, you just push it inwards and then it pops out. So this part's kind of like a spring. If you push it that way, it will pass these little parts that stick out to hold it in place, and you can take it out. This is the LCD LVDS connector, has this flip latch to take it out. If you're going to mess with that, after removing the battery, make sure to press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds. So that way you can drain the residual power, and there's a lot less chance you'll damage the computer. If you don't, a lot of times you can damage the keyboard or the backlight circuit, or sometimes the motherboard. Excuse me. CPU and GPU are soldered to the motherboard, so you can't replace them. There's only one fan cooling both, so the cooling setup is kind of bad. But yeah, alright, you got the wireless card here. I don't know if somebody needs it sometimes, so you'll want to check yours, but maybe you can see there's the model number, super tiny, right there, 3165NGW, super tiny, there you go. So you can see that information if you need it for some reason. Alright, I'm going to clean up the fan. Anyways, keyboard backlight, and trackpad connectors, I believe. Then this is the keyboard, or sorry, that's the hard drive connector. We are going to upgrade this to an SSD, so what we're going to do, flip this latch here. Let me actually zoom in so you can see this better. Okay, so we're going to flip this latch up. There we go. And then you can actually pull the connector out from there. Okay, so this hard drive, the way it comes out, these feet go underneath. So the rubber has some feet that go underneath. So we have to lift it from this side. So just grab a hold of the side and then slowly pull it up. If you can't do that, you can also get a hard drive screw to put in there and then use that to pull it up, but that seemed to work well. All right, so here you can see we have these little rubber brackets. So we're going to take those out and put them onto the SSD. So let's go ahead and get the SSD out. Okay, we're going to get the SSD here. All right, so SSD looks like this. Oops, let me get this junk out of the way. Okay, SSD looks like this. We're going to transfer these pieces over. So these, usually you can't just yank this off because a lot of times you'll end up pulling this black plastic piece off, so you want to be careful with that. Okay, so what I do is I pull the connector back slightly. You'll see this gap where you can see the gold pins. I'll get my fingernail in there. You can use a plastic pry tool or whatever you want. But as you can see, I can use that to pull the connector out. So we're going to do that on both sides, and there we go. Now we got this connector out. You want to be careful not to pinch this cable. You don't want to damage it. And let's go ahead now and transfer these rubber things over to the SSD. Okay, so to do that, just get these, stick them on just like that. Oops. Okay, just like that. We're going to stick the hard drive connector back on. When you push this, again, be careful with the cable. You want to push just on the back here, all right, not on the cable, just like that. Right, again, there's these little feet that stick out. You've got to put those in first, so slide that over. Slowly lower this down into place. Make sure the cable is not getting smashed over there. Okay, and then we can go ahead and plug this back in. I like to flip this so I can grab the blue tab here. Makes it easier, and then you can use that to kind of guide this cable into place. All right, once you get it in, flip that latch back down, and there we go. We got the SSD installed. Now what we're gonna have to do is basically redo Windows install and everything, update all the drivers. But yeah, all right. The other option is you can clone the hard drive directly to the SSD, but it's probably gonna be better to have a complete clean install. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, you got this cable going here. I believe that's the power button board, so the power button is replaceable, and then you have this separate connector. The only thing bad about this design is if this gets bad, you can actually damage the power button connection as well. So if for some reason this is disconnected or not working right, then your power button also won't work. So it could be a little tricky to diagnose this one if that happens. But anyways, let's go ahead and put this back together. All right. Oops. Too much. Okay, so we're going to set the hard drive aside for now. Okay, and then let's get the cover. Again, this is a little tricky because of the way it kind of slides in. So we kind of have to put it up there and then slide it over. Okay, as you can see, it's a lot easier to get it back over into place than it is to take it out. But anyways, now we can go ahead and clip everything back in. Okay, just push everything down, make sure everything clicks into place. Okay, looks good. Make sure to get these clicked back in. Okay, first thing we're going to do is put the two screws that were hidden underneath. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Oops. Okay, get those two screws. So we'll get this one here. Okay, and this one here. Right, once you've done that, let's actually open up the computer to make sure everything is clipped in properly. So flip this over. Okay, then we're going to slowly, carefully open this up. Make sure all these clips look good. All right, looks good. This one seems like it's not completely clipped. Okay, there we go. Clip that in, and clip all of those in. All right, so there we go. We got everything clipped in. Let's close it up, flip it back over, and let's go ahead and put back the rest of the screws. So first thing, let's go ahead and get these pieces back in. So just like opposite of before, we're going to get this little piece in first. Actually, let me zoom in here. I'll show a better close-up of how you get this piece on and off. Okay, so you get this side in first. Okay, well, just like this. Once that piece is underneath, you can actually go ahead and clip everything back down. Okay, and make sure that this clips in as well. Okay, so let me show now how to remove this again. So to remove it, what you do is you just get underneath here. Okay, so I go underneath this edge here, lift that up, and then once you have that lifted up, while you're kind of holding on to that, we're going to go under here, use a plastic pry tool or your fingernail, and then you can use that to kind of pry that out, and there we go. Okay, so there you go, nice and easy. Let's go ahead and get it back in. Okay, just like that, and then click that in place. There we go. All right, same thing with the other side. Get that, line it up. Okay, then we're gonna get this, click that in, and there we go. Oh, I have a customer here, so I'm gonna have to be quick with this. Let's go, oops, whoa, you can see all the junk all over my desk. Okay, there we go. All right, let's go ahead now and get all these screws back in. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Again, these are customer computers, so by the time you see this video, I probably won't have it, so I won't be able to show other things inside. When you open up the computer, if you're trying to boot from the Windows or USB installer, you have to press F9 on boot to get to the boot devices. So I'll actually show that as well, but let me go ahead and get all of this back together. Okay, so let me go give my customer outside their computer and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. So let's go ahead and get all these screws back in and then start the Windows install. So I'm just going to show how you can do the initial install and then we'll stop there. But anyways, let's go ahead and get all these screws back in. Don't forget the flat ones here as well that go underneath the CD drive. Oops, we have to switch back to the PH0 or JIS0 screwdriver. Okay. There we go. Alright, now let's get these 3 screws in. Don't forget to put the CD drive back in. Oops, that's upside down. Make sure you put it in the right way. Just like that. Okay. Alright, last 4 screws, and then we just got the battery and those little screw covers. Alright, last one. Alright, there we go. Let's get this back in. I might have to get a battery charger for this. So again, for the battery, you put the back in first, and then you swing it down. Click that into place, and then make sure to switch that into the lock position. Then we're going to get these and just put those little covers back on. Alright, that one and this one. Alright, so there we go. So I think the reason why they put these little covers is to hide the injection mold spots, so that's why there's the little circles there with the screw holes in it. But anyways, alright, so let me power it up. I might need the charger because the light was blinking red earlier, so we'll see. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the USB, and we're just going to plug that in, and then we're going to power it up. And again, we're going to press F9 to change the boot device. So I don't know if you saw that, it said change boot device order. Okay, and here you go. We're going to boot from the USB hard drive SanDisk Cruiser Fit. Okay, I have both 64-bit and 32-bit, so we're going to boot from the 64-bit, of course. And that's pretty much it. Then you just go through the thing to do the install. I like to do the custom install for the hard drive and make sure that all the memory is unallocated. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, let's drop this. Bye.